welcome to Soul in Balance. My name's Alicia and I'll be bringing you a report on the full moon in Scorpio, and this will be happening on the 30th of April at 10:58 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And like all full moons, it's about releasing. But with this full moon, we're going to be releasing a whole lot more. So this full moon is about deep metamorphosis, deep change, letting go of just so much stuff we don't need. So over the last few days, we've just been feeling so much emotion just coming up and sitting there ready to go. So this is the time to let it all finally clear. Okay, so because this full moon is in Scorpio, it means it's going to be super intense because Scorpio is super intense. Scorpio is all about deep connections and psychic abilities and death and rebirth and transformation. So that's exactly what this full moon is going to be. And over the last few days, it has been really, really intense, and it's been a bit of a mixed bag of emotions. So, we've had, all our new ideas and new passions coming to the surface, and we're wanting to move forward and get those done. But then we've also got these intense feelings bubbling up at the surface, and it's hard to know whether to stay in bed all day or get up and start doing what's making you happy or getting those ideas going. So it's been rather a confusing time at the moment, and a lot of people are really struggling. I myself, as a practitioner, I've had so many people contacting me that are not coping at all, and majority have actually been men. So men have actually been going through a bit of a death and rebirth period, as we do have Mars, which is the masculine and our passions and desires, meeting Pluto. So we've had a lot of men, just being like, what the hell is going on? I feel like I'm not coping. Everything's just falling apart around me, just grasping for anything just to keep going and finding happiness. And it's even with our desires as well. We're going to find that this full moon, that old desires that we used to have or that used to make us happy don't make us happy anymore, and we need to transform them and turn them into something that's really going to benefit our soul more, something that's going to really make us happy. So at this time, we could be seeing a lot of power struggles with the Pluto and Mars aspect, and a few of the other aspects that are going on that correlate with that. We can be seeing power struggles, people that are too much in their ego, they have a lot of healing to do, can lash out and say some quite nasty things, or try and dominate or try and control as a way of trying to grasp everything and keeping everything together. So we have to be careful at this time and be mindful and be a little bit compassionate, like, hey, maybe people are lashing out or saying these things because they're not coping. And it's also good to not lash out yourself if it's possible. I do believe that you need to say things if it comes up, if something comes up for you and you feel that it needs to be said. I'm always somebody who thinks that it needs to be said, but I think it can be said at a better time or in a better way, because it is a time where it is very easy to lash out at somebody. Also, we are seeing a lot of the repercussions of what's happening in our society when it comes to rape. So a lot of men and people that have caused a lot of grief, even women, to victims are being brought to justice, and it's a really great thing. We started seeing a lot of the sexual awareness when Jupiter went into Scorpio last year, so that was very heightened when it first went in. There was like the Me Too movement and and all these other things that were happening, and people were coming out and saying, hey, this has happened to me, this has happened to me. But now we're actually kind of seeing the repercussions. So as Jupiter's gone in, it's kind of brought up what needs to, what repercussions need to happen. And also over there in Capricorn with Saturn going retrograde as well. So it is actually fantastic to see on YouTube, which I've personally seen, and Facebook, some people being brought to justice. So that is also a really great thing at this time. So I think we should just all be mindful that this is going on, and be a bit more sensitive about people if they bring up any sexual trauma that they've had, which I do really suggest that if something's happened to you in the past, or you know of someone, that they do seek help, they do talk about it, they do something to release that at this time. It is actually a really great time to release stuff like that while the full moon is in Scorpio there with Jupiter. So another aspect that's adding to this Mars and Pluto is Chiron going into Aries. So Mars is the planet of Aries, and Chiron is our soul wounds, and as that's just come into Aries, that's also going to be bringing up issues and wounding with the masculine, and how the masculine needs to transform. So it's kind of working together, correlating together to bring about healing. It's also got to do with us being birthed as a soul, coming from a soul level and being birthed onto this planet, and the wounding that's coming up from that wounding, and feelings of abandonment, and not feeling connected, and feeling separate, and feeling alone, and that's a lot of the stuff that's coming up right now. So with all that working together, and then the releasing of the Scorpio and the Scorpio full moon, making us let go of this pain and trauma, when it's also connecting with Jupiter, and Jupiter's about expansion, and Jupiter's going retrograde, so it means it's going in. So we're being forced to go in and really analyze and say, hey, this has really affected me growing up, and how has this impacted in my life? How am I living in fear? How am I compensating for what's happened? So we're needing to go in and be like, hey, I don't need to do this anymore. I don't need to do this anymore. I'm ready to let go of this, and I'm ready to heal this, because I'm ready to be better. I'm ready to be happy. I'm ready to move forward with my life and be in a place from the heart. And that is where this full moon is going to, which is our collective direction, which is the North Node in Leo, which is our heart space. So we're really being called to be that connection to ourselves. So we're constantly going outwards and projecting what we love and what we want onto external things, and we really need to be turning that inwards and saying, hey, all I need is me. All I need is my compassion and my commitment and my love. That is what I need the most. It's not something that's external from me. And with that square going out to the North Node, it's really being brought up at this time. And with Chiron, the soul wounding in Aries, and what we're desiring and what we're passionate about, and transformation in Pluto with Mars over there as well. And we've also got pressure from Saturn breaking down structures, old structures that just aren't working anymore up there in Capricorn as well. So it really is just a breakdown of everything. And in this breaking down, we're seeing in our day-to-day lives what's just not working anymore. Things that we've done for so many years and ways we've always been and operated is just breaking down everywhere. So we need to start paying attention and thinking, hey, do I really need to be doing things this way anymore? Is it serving me? And you'll probably find that it's not. And the more you connect to yourself, and the more you heal and release those things, the more free you are to be who you truly are. So another little interesting aspect, well, it's not little because it's happened quite a few times already this year, which is the Saturn and Mercury aspects. We've just had Mercury, still will be at this full moon, Mercury squaring Saturn, and that has kind of felt like an extended Mercury retrograde. So Saturn is restrictions and blocks and time, and we've got Mercury, which is our communication. So we've probably felt like still we've been blocked in communication, blocked in learning, blocked in direction. So that is still happening at the moment. So keep in mind that will pass. So another aspect with Saturn is that it's trining out to the sun, and that kind of represents a commitment to our goals, commitment to what we're doing, but more in an internal sense. So commitment to our self-direction, commitment to healing, commitment to what's going to benefit us the most. And we can be in a place of being in two minds at the moment about that, because Venus is going through Gemini, and Gemini is the twins, and it is about being in two different perspectives. So we could also be in our love nature and with our passions, weighing up what's best for us, what we really want to do, what we're really passionate about. It could even be in aspects of love. Are we in the right relationship? Do we need to make changes here or there? So it's weighing up those options in what we are passionate about and what we're going to do to move forward. So this is a very deep metamorphosis full moon, and it's also about internal power. So with all this stuff going on, with all this healing and all this stuff being brought to the surface, we are being given intense internal power to really accomplish these things, and it's really, really, really important. And I know that I say this every video, but I do mean it. It is really important that we let this stuff go. It is part of our soul journey, and it is stuff that's been holding us back. It is stuff that's no longer working anymore. And if we can let go of that stuff, you know, we can just bloom and blossom into who we really are, what our soul came here to be, you know, what resonates with us the most. And that's also what the sun in Taurus is as well. It's about self-reliance, self-worth, self-love. And if we can release all that stuff in Scorpio, which is opposite, then we can be more in that space of the Taurus sun, which is relying on ourselves, being in our heart space, because that's where we really need to be, and that's what everything is working together to achieve is all about right now. So as I suggest with all full moons, is to write down, you know, some of the things you'd like to release. What would be better is to sit there and be present in that pain of what needs to go, so you can finally release it, whether it's taking a day off work, spending the day in bed, or whatever it is, having a good cry. It is really a great time to just let go of some stuff that's just ready to go, that's stopping you from being the best person you can be. And or another great thing is just going out to the full moon and just say, you know, like, I'm ready for this to go now. Like, you know, I've had enough of these problems, I've had enough of this, and I've had enough of coping this way. I know there's something better for me. So it is really a great time to be doing that. I'd just like to say, if you'd like a reading from me, I do birth chart readings and synastry readings, or pretty much everything really. But if you're a sensitive person and the full moons really affect you, it is, or it would be a great idea for you to get a birth chart done, so then you have that chart there so you can understand what happens every single full moon and how it affects you, how it's triggering you, and what area of life. It could be in romance, it could be at work, it could be in the family, it could be something in the home, it could be something with friends and community. So with an astrology chart, it goes over all that. So if you'd like a birth chart reading done from me, please see my details below. Besides that, have a magical, releasing, deep metamorphosis full moon in Scorpio, and many soul journey blessings.